my friends. Douglas V. Gibbs here, Mr. Constitution, with our first and hopefully a good series of regular videos. We'll regularly get them out. Took a while to get this one going just for various reasons. Be sure to subscribe, turn on your notifications. That way you know when a video is showing up on this page, wherever you are watching it, YouTube, Rumble, Brighteon, BitChute. And of course, feel free to follow me on my social media, which I'm just now starting to get back into. Uh, the I'm back video kind of explained all of that. So here's what I wanted to talk about. There's this meme that's going around. And when I say meme, those little images with the pictures and stuff, and it's Elizabeth Warren, and it's pictured right there. And here's what it says, Senator Warren. It says at the bottom, January 30th, 2025. So it's saying that she's saying this recently, 10 days after Donald Trump was inaugurated in office, and he's using DOGE to go after federal spending and to, review it and to, root out any waste and fraud and so on and so forth. And here's what it says. There is nothing in the Constitution that says ordinary Americans have a right to see what we're spending tax dollars on. Now, I looked it up and I spent a lot of time because the thing about memes is more often than not, they're not exactly correct. They're not exactly true. It reminds me of the meme where it has an image of Abraham Lincoln on it, and it says, you can't believe everything that's on the internet, and then it says Abraham Lincoln as the person. And obviously, because the internet was not around, that's being silly, but it kind of pushes home the point. So when you see this stuff, first of all, don't immediately believe it's absolutely true. So from what I'm understanding, it's a false meme. That said, the Democrats, by their actions, are confirming that they believe what that says. They're freaking out because DOGE, Elon Musk, who has been given the authority by the President of the United States, the security clearance, to review, audit federal spending, and when it comes to auditing, that's how auditing works. You don't audit from within. You hire an outside agency to audit. If a company was to be accused of maybe misplacing funds or something, and then they said, no, we did an internal audit, we're good, no one's going to believe it, and I think there's probably some legality problems there. You bring in an outside source to do the audit, an outside company or something like that, and then they go over your books, and it kind of reminds me like forensic accountants, and they get in there and they look at the books and they figure, oh wait, there's something wrong here, and then they figure out some type of criminality or whatever. That's what's going on. And the Democrats are freaking out. They're freaking out because, they don't want you to know what's being spent or why or how and whose pockets some of that laundered money or little pieces might be going into. Maybe. We'll say maybe because, still most of it's alleged still, but nonetheless, there's a freak out going on. And then we see this meme. There's nothing in the Constitution that says ordinary Americans have a right to see what we're spending tax dollars on. This is a very elite attitude. And so therefore, we see now Democrats freaking out, and they are protesting. They are getting out there in the streets saying, hey, you can't do this. You're exposing how we're spending the money. They are confirming what the quote-unquote false meme is saying. So while the meme may not be exactly accurate that Elizabeth Warren actually said those words on that day, this is what they're thinking. The meme is accurate in that sense. They are thinking what it says, and they are confirming that by their actions. Someone told me there's a saying that when it comes to audits, people who are not acting in a criminal manner, people who are honest, don't mind audits. It's the ones that are doing things under the skirt, under the current. You don't know. They're sneaking something out. They're the ones that are fearful of audits. They're the ones that are trying to push audits back or change how it's done or make sure their eyes are in it. I remember early on where there was a lawsuit saying, DOGE isn't a proper department because committees and departments, the federal government is supposed to have equal representation on both sides, and Democrats should be. And Trump's like, no, that's not what this is. This is an outside auditor. It's not an official committee or an official department. I mean, it kind of is, and it goes all the way back to Obama, and that is a video for a different time. But that this is something that Elon Musk is not getting paid to do this. He is simply a businessman who knows about making things run efficiently and rooting out waste and fraud. And that's what he's doing. Now, here's the part that I really wanted to get to, because as a constitutionalist, this is a big deal to me, and that's this. The meme says there's nothing in the Constitution that says ordinary Americans have a right to see what we're spending tax dollars on. Now, I believe the Democrats believe that. They don't understand the Constitution. They twist the Constitution to fit their ideas or whatever. And in reality, there is something in the Constitution. Mr. Constitution would know. So I'm going to read this for you now. And once again, it'll wind up on the side right there for you. So you can read along if you want. And this comes from Article 1, Section 9. It's the second to last paragraph. Article 1, Section 9, the second to last paragraph of Article 1, Section 9 in the United States Constitution. No money shall be drawn from the Treasury, but in consequence of appropriations made by law, and a regular statement and account of receipts and expenditures of all public money shall be published from time to time. So the drawn from the Treasury, but in consequence of appropriations, that means the money's supposed to go in the direction that the Congress says. Of course, there's also an argument about how much and all that jazz. Appropriations, there's an argument over appropriations also going on. We'll do a different video about that. Presidential power of impoundment kind of covers that. But the second part is what I want to concentrate here. An irregular statement and account of the receipts and expenditures of all public money. Public money. This is the money that belongs to the people. It's public money. They put their money into it through taxation. Or these monies have come up, if not by taxation, by things like tariffs and fees and things like that. But it belongs to the public, regardless of where it came from. But it is the public's money. Shall be published from time to time. In other words, you don't have to do it every day, don't have to do it every week, don't have to do it every month. But from time to time, the receipts and expenditures will be published. It will be shown to the public how the money's being spent. There is something in the Constitution that says that ordinary Americans have a right to see what the federal government is spending tax dollars on. Absolutely. One last thing before we go. So my constitutional mentor, in a sense, I mean, I've been studying the Constitution all my life, but the guy who really got me there, got me to see things that I didn't necessarily recognize prior, was a guy named Tim Curlin. He went by Loki online. For those of you who remember my days with Blog Talk Radio, he and I became very good friends. He wound up passing away after a stint was in blood clot went to his brain. It was a nasty situation. But I spent time with him on my show, his show, and then we wound up doing a show of our own, and for a while. And then when I got into AM radio, our shows on Blog Talk Radio began to diminish, and then he passed away shortly after that. But in 2007, he and I decided we were going to figure out how much federal money is actually constitutional. What percentage of federal spending is unconstitutional and constitutional? So we went through, at the time, the monies that we had available, the federal budget that was being shared with Americans, and we took all of the items that were listed and we separated them into two piles. This is back in 2007, so remember, this is the tail end of George Bush's second term. And we put, we decided from a strictly constitutional, textualist, constructionist point of view, is what that money spent on constitutionally authorized? Now, don't get me wrong, there are some things that are constitutionally not authorized that the federal government maybe ought to be spending on. But that wasn't our aim. Our aim was just to look at strictly constitutional versus unconstitutional. If it should be constitutional, propose an amendment. So we separate it, and after all the dust settles and we figure it all out, 85% of federal spending in 2007 was unconstitutional. I'm sure it's much worse now between Obama and Biden. And so now we've got 85% of federal spending unconstitutional. God knows how much of it is fraudulent, based on fraudulent means, fraudulent, uh, uh, fraudulent applications, or just waste, or being used for an ideological reason that has nothing to do with the federal government, that Elon Musk now is discovering and rooting out. Even before all of that, without even finding all of that, what they were telling us back during the tail end of Bush. This is before Obama and Biden added to that percentage. It was 85%. 85% of federal spending unconstitutional. And we have a right to know federal spending transparency is in the Constitution. Federal spending transparency, where Americans know how their government. These people are not a nobility or a monarchy who can operate above the law without any consequences of law. We put them in office, if not directly, indirectly. And we, as the owners, citizen owners of this government, have every authority and right to know every penny and how it's being spent. Article 1, Section 9 says so. All right, thank you for spending the time. If you want to help fund my efforts, DouglasVGibbs.com, DouglasVGibbs.com on the first page, main page, scroll all the way down. There's a donate button down there, and feel free to donate any amount. If you want to become a $9 a month patron, then go to the join link in the link bar and hit that and just follow the instructions. $9 a month goes a long way. It really helps. I also have AM radio programs in San Diego County and Riverside County, and available online, not only through those radio stations, but podcast platforms. Just enter Mr. Constitution Hour by Douglas V. Gibbs, Mr. Constitution Hour by Douglas V. Gibbs, and you'll find my podcasts that are also my radio show on AM stations in San Diego County. And my advertisers pay for less than half of that. The rest of it comes out of my pocket. And since I don't teach Constitution classes down in Southern California anymore, because I've moved to the Oregon coast, I've got to make it up somehow. That's where you come in. Help keep me on the air. All right, so thanks for spending the time. Don't forget, subscribe, turn on notifications. Other videos are coming soon. United we stand, combined we kick butt. God bless America, my friends. God bless you. We'll see you next time.